Lakshmi, the goddess of well-being and prosperity, the goddess of both internal and external harmony. Ashtalakshmi is the manifestation of 8 different forms of Lakshmi, all having synergizing qualities. Griha Lakshmi, Santana Lakshmi, Vidya Lakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi, Dhana Lakshmi, Gaja Lakshmi, Dhairya Lakshmi, and Vijaya Lakshmi. Ayya's life was blessed with all forms of Lakshmi. Many decades and 6 generations on, his life has become all the more significant for us. Ayya's life, his multifaceted personality, his wisdom, experiences, approach to men, matters, and life itself have not only made him legend, but have given us an unmatched legacy. Griha Lakshmi, the wealth of domestic happiness. This is the wealth that is blessed upon a person who can transform a house into a home by creating an atmosphere of warmth and good cheer. Ayya's home was all this. Visalakshi Achi, the matriarch and homemaker, stood by Ayya through thick and thin. She showed enormous patience and tolerance in times of difficulty. She was a stoic pillar of support and kept the family together during his long trips away from home on work. Radha Amma, the able administrator and scholar, went on to become the first Vice-Chancellor of Aragappa University. She shared Ayya's love for Tamil literature and researched extensively on the Tiruvasagam. Ayya built architecturally beautiful homes and had landscaped gardens created around them. His home was open to people from all walks of life. His family, friends, poets, scholars, leaders, men of great wisdom alike. Everyone was welcome, and more importantly, everyone felt at home. Gandhiji took to wearing only a loincloth in Ayya's home and presence after eating a meal served by Visalakshi Party. Such was the effect that Ayya's finely woven handloom garments had on the Mahatma. Santana Lakshmi, the wealth of children. Ayya was blessed with wonderful children. He named his sons after the Nayanmars and daughters after the Trishaktis. True to tradition, his grandson T.S. Chokku used to name the cows, representatives of goddess Lakshmi, after the aunts in the family. T. Meenakshi Achi, the eldest child, tall, majestic like her father, and one who revelled in her father's greatness. She stood by her principles at all times and could regale audiences with interesting anecdotes from Ayya's life. On a lighter note, T. Meenakshi Achi also inherited Ayya's strong mind. She refused to give up her maiden name after she got married. T. Sundaram Chettiar, an affable, social, lively gentleman, he brought life to any gathering. His circle of friends was vast and he took great pride in hosting friends and family both in the city and his native village, A. Thekkur. He was blessed with the art of effective communication and could put across his points without hurting anyone's sentiment. T. Manikavashagam Chettiar. He was a very learned scholar and a widely respected bilingual author. His books were prescribed by the Madurai University. He worked very hard to realize Ayya's dreams in the field of education and created institutions that have stood the test of time. Saraswati Achi, an extremely capable and efficient lady who inherited her father's architectural mind. Like him, she built several beautiful and striking buildings and infused in them a sense of warmth and homeliness. Her disciplinarian senses are well known in the family, as are her many talents. Rukmini Achi. She had the distinction of being the first lady graduate in Chettinad. Her charm, grace, and poise were one facet. Her remarkable determination to achieve goals was the other. T. Kannan. He holds deep admiration for Ayya and trained under him. He is a multifaceted personality and holds high positions in several national and regional bodies. He has imbibed many of Ayya's qualities, including his devotion and surrender to Goddess Meenakshi. Lakshmi Murugesan. The youngest of Ayya's children is courageous, enterprising, and holds steadfastness of purpose. She shares Ayya's passion for textiles and has achieved an admirable work-life balance. The Karumuttu family. Ayya's children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren are all achievers. We are blessed to come together to celebrate annually, take pride in each other's growth, and spend special moments together. Vidya Lakshmi, the wealth of learning and wisdom. In our tradition, Vidya Dhanam is the gift of knowledge. All forms of knowledge are sacred, and learned people are greatly respected. This is so because knowledge is a basic need. It is knowledge that helps a person progress from being a consumer to a contributor. And that is why Vidya Dhanam is considered to be the greatest of all Dhanams. Ayya symbolized this very aspect of Vidya Dhanam. He founded several educational institutions, temples of learning as he called them, even during his years of struggle. One of his trips to Calcutta took him to Shantiniketan and inspired in him the desire to start institutions dedicated to learning. Ayya's life was spent amidst scholars and in libraries. He read all the 20,000 and counting books in his library and is known to have quoted from all of them. He built primary, secondary, and higher secondary schools for his employees and opened doors of his institutions to everyone. Every detail in his institutions was attended to, from teachers to infrastructure. His compassion to help people and spread education was inherent in him, made possible by his values and not just his wealth. In the words of Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati, I consider that living begins when one contributes something that will bring about more joy, more happiness, more light, and more freedom. Until then, one merely drags one's life through old age and on to the grave. Just getting on is not really living. To live is to be a positive contributor. Ayya was a true contributor. His institutions continue to provide education to thousands and stand on his principles. Many family members have established education institutions since. Sona College of Engineering, Saraswati Narayanan College of Arts, Rukmani Shanmugam Polytechnic, Sita Lakshmi Achi College for Women, Golden Gates Matriculation School, Butterfly Gardens Preschool. Dhanya Lakshmi, the wealth of sustenance and well-being. The attitude towards food and sharing the customs associated with Annam emphasize inner maturity and an appreciation of the Lord. This attitude is reflected as Naivedya, offering to the Lord, Atiti Seva, hospitality to a guest, and Annadhanam, food for all. Ayya was a true Shaivite and believed that a believer should also practice the food habits of a true Shaivite. He practiced and preached the importance of vegetarianism. Nothing could sway him from his principles. Even Kamarajar, who loved to indulge in non-vegetarian food, was served only wholesome vegetarian food in Ayya's home. His hospitality is legendary, and everyone remembers the care with which they were received, offered food and comfort in Ayya's home. So was Ayya's concern for the well-being of his people. His mills had creches to take care of the children of women workers. Children were fed with fresh cow's milk and wholesome food. This was many decades before corporate social responsibility became fashionable. In his time, social responsibility was a duty. Dhanalakshmi, the wealth of money. The wealth of money provides us with a relative degree of comfort and security. To look upon it as the source of power, security, and happiness alone is a narrow and unrealistic perception of the role of money. One needs to understand the objective value of money and its role in life. A Dhanavan shares wealth graciously with others and handles money in a mature manner. Ayya was all this and more. His approach to wealth was very objective. He did not espouse extravagant lifestyles. Neither did he fear losing wealth or money. It is this objectivity that helped him hold on to his principles through trials and tribulations. This was perhaps why he was able to give with happiness and not for happiness. Gajalakshmi, the wealth of power and royalty. Being endowed with power is a blessing. Mature people use this blessing of power for the well-being and benefit of everyone. Ayya was blessed with positions of power and influence very early in his life. As a journalist in Sri Lanka, he used the power of the pen to benefit poor workers. Back home, he was respected and loved by everyone, people and leaders alike. He donned many roles. To industrialists, he was a role model. To businesses, an able administrator. To society, a philanthropist. And to fellow entrepreneurs, a true friend. In many instances, he sought to give up his power over his principles. The Yarn Price Control Order of 1972, passed by the Commissioner of Textiles, is a case in point. When fellow industrialists were threatened into silence against opposing the order, he resigned from both ICMF and SAIMA to tread his own path. In doing so, he chose to give up his power over his principles. Dhairya Lakshmi, the wealth of courage. Dhairya Lakshmi is the ability to place one's trust in the universal laws and their legitimacy, in the goodness of people and in the correctness of the laws. Ayya was abundantly blessed with Dhairya Lakshmi. His approach to life was that of fearlessness. His actions conformed to the principles of dharma. He refused to be cowed down by conflict or pressure. The long legal battle he faced in the wake of the Yarn Control Order is well known. Power supply was stopped to his mills and bundles of yarn confiscated because of a seeming flaw in complying with the Essential Commodities Act. But he stuck to his ground and was proved right. In another instance, Ayya had an issue with the appointment of an arbitrator in a case with the state. There would have been no material loss to Ayya. It was a matter of principle in which he deferred. The matter was taken up to Prime Minister Nehru, and Nehru conceded to Ayya's point of view only because of his principles. Nehru later became a close friend of Ayya and inaugurated a school in Visalakshi Party's name. Vijaya Lakshmi, the wealth of the ability to manage desires. To desire is a privilege. All of life's pursuits are meant to fulfill one's likes and dislikes. Desires cease to be privileges when one is controlled by one's likes and dislikes. Legitimate desires and consistent ambitions are healthy and a privilege, the means to achieve the end are as important as the end itself. Ayya believed in this. He was very ambitious, he desired, but he believed in only using the right means to achieve his goals. Lord Krishna says that he is manifest in the form of desire, unopposed to dharma in all human beings. Ayya's life is a beautiful illustration of mastery over likes and dislikes. He was always able to demonstrate the dividing line between ambition and greed. He managed his desires effectively. His empire grew, and with it, the abundance of his wealth. Ayya stood tall and apart from the crowd because he chose to stand on his principles and value systems. There is a lot that we can take back from Ayya's life. He was blessed with an abundance of Ashtalakshmi, and in turn, he chose to turn his blessings into tools that helped people. He was compassionate, kind, just, and allowed principles to dictate his life rather than his wealth. His life is best explained by Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati's teachings on values. The expression of my life is just the expression of my well-assimilated value structure. What I do is but an expression of what is valuable to me. Let us bow our heads in tribute to Ayya, the legend, and celebrate his way of life, our legacy.